your guy, Mac, back at it with another video today. We'll be playing some Crusader Kings 3. So here we have your Ovar of Smallwood. Now this is going to be our player characters throughout this campaign, and we will be taking over the Jarldom of Smallwood to start. Of course, our goal is to expand very big. That's if that was obvious. And let's just kind of, enter the game first. Now, I want to give a little bit of explanation as to what this game is. Its name is Crusader Kings 3. It is a grand strategy game published by Paradox, and is similar to things like Stellaris, Hearts of Iron, Toria, and Europa. Now, this is going to be a lot more of an in-depth series. More like how to play, how to get started and stuff like that. Not like a full-blown tutorial. Enough, where it's pretty obvious this isn't meant for your most experienced player who's been playing since the game came out. Now, I wouldn't say that the other series is particularly designed for you in that case, but you'd probably enjoy it a lot more. If you check out the other series, I am actually playing as the same person, a different place, same time period, but different set of individuality. Now, in that one, I'm actually taking over an offshoot, and I'm recording this after I record that first episode, and I made major progress. Conquered all of these islands, conquered the entirety of that island, and I've conquered a decent chunk of over here. Currently, I'm trying to form the King of Norway in that one, so I wanted to get a little bit of a different path in this one. And that series is more of me just kind of running around and messing around and just kind of having some fun. Well, this series is more of me playing through the game seriously, actually sitting down and struggling through the game. Now, this is going to be a lot more in-depth, more of explaining what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Like, for example, my lifestyle choices, I'm going to, give that a more thorough explanation than I did in the previous series. So let's say you're new to the game, you kind of know what you're doing. I definitely recommend that other series instead. They'll give you the rough overviews and stuff like that, but it won't sit down and explain to you bit by bit what everything is, kind of like what this series is going to be doing. Now, to start off, there's a couple of things I want to do. Of course, I want to handle these. So let's start off by choosing my lifestyle. So, here we'll start. The lifestyles, there are 5 main ones: diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, and learning, each with their own trees and branches, I guess you can say. So, first, you have a lifestyle focus. There are 3 for each of these. For diplomacy, the foreign affairs focus, majesty focus, and family focus. Each one provides different bonuses. For example, foreign affair giving you a boost in diplomacy, and then 25 diplomacy experience a month, which is of course the same for all of them. With these, each one kind of blends into the playstyle you'd like to go into. For example, if you would like to go with a playstyle that's more focused on, creating friendly ties and alliances with other nations, I'd recommend the diplomacy lifestyle. If you're going to go for a more military expansion path, playthrough like I'm going to, at least with this guy, I would recommend going down the martial lifestyle path. You have strategy focus, authority focus, and chivalry focus. And out of all of these, if you really want, control, I'd recommend authority. If you just kind of want to get better with battles and stuff, strategy and chivalry for, boosting others' opinions and increasing your knight's advantage. If you want to focus on building up your territory, for example, you want to get a bunch of buildings and you want to upgrade them all, I'd recommend stewardship, which has wealth focus, domain focus, and duty focus. With this one, you go more down the path of creating and keeping wealth, and using it to expand your territory. Well, not expand, but to grow your territory in a different way. Instead of growing and expanding, you're, coming together and building up your territory, building buildings in your little, tribes and cities and stuff, stuff like that. If you want to go for a more stealthy, behind the curtain stuff, I'd recommend the Intrigue lifestyle, which has skullduggery, temptation, and intimidation. With these, I'd recommend, if, for example, you like playing with schemes, if you know who the scheme is, there's two types, hostile and then a non-hostile scheme. A hostile scheme will usually be things like attempting to murder someone, that's really all that's coming to mind to right now, but I know there's more than that. And non-hostile schemes, which are a lot wider of a variety. For example, you have the befriending scheme, in which you get closer to the target, a romance scheme, in which you try and turn the person who you're targeting into your soulmate. You have the learn language scheme, a newer scheme from the more recent update, which overhauled cultures and stuff like that. Basically, if you really want to get close with someone, or you're trying to convert, or decrease the tension between two cultures within your territory, I'd recommend that one right there, as it really helps, ease the tension. You'd be able to understand them both. Excuse me. And then you have the learning focus. I'd recommend this one if you honestly, I can't completely remember what learning does right off the bat, so I can't say exactly what I'd recommend this for, except for maybe the focuses. For example, if you are trying to reform your faith, I'd recommend the theology focus. A good way to boost the amount of piety you're getting, and also get profit, which I think, faith creation and reformation costs minus 50%. That's always a good thing, because it's pretty expensive, especially when you add a bunch of changes. So it's a good way to kind of decrease that cost. If you're going for, if you care about your character's health and you want them to live a nice long life, I'd recommend the medicine focus. It's a good way to, boost the health. Of course, you get a small health boost, and then you can go down the whole of body tree, which will do things like boosting your health and protection against diseases. For example, wash your hands here will reduce the chances of contracting illnesses, and it reduces that chance for courtiers as well. You have know thyself, which will actually give you a warning of death a year in advance. It's very interesting, and mainly the only reason I ever go down the learning lifestyle path, specifically for that perk. Just because it's really useful when you play through the game as a god, unlimited power and all that fun stuff. It's nice to know when that character is going to die, because they'll live for a very long time with no signs of ending. And then you'll get the warning. That way you don't just suddenly keel over and die. When you're like, man, you were living forever, now you're just going to die. And you get scholarship focus, which boosts your development growth. And while that's useful, later in the game, at the start of the game, I wouldn't completely recommend it, specifically because as much as, I'd recommend growing before developing, to feudal. If you start off as tribal, I wouldn't recommend, gunning for feudal as fast as you can, simply because it kind of wrecks you. For example, your troops and stuff, which you currently pay for with gold, would suddenly be charged for, with prestige, and the amount of cost to upkeep them, whether or not they're raised increases as well. So it really depends on what type of playthrough you're going for. But as I said earlier, I'm going for a more military expansion playthrough. We're going to be going to martial, and I think this time we're going to go for chivalry focus, and then build Judson just to get that minus the cost, which will help me wage wars, more cost effectively. I won't have to spend years waiting. Give me a second. I cannot see what I need to see. There we go. Now, we can take a look at our current situations to see a couple of important quick things. For example, I can declare 6 wars. Whether or not I actually win, okay, I'll have stronger armies than you. So the answer is no. But I could declare war on them if I wanted. I could take a concubine, and it negates prestige, but sorry, it negates the prestige penalty I'm currently suffering, which I didn't actually realize I was suffering under concubines. Interesting. Okay. So we'll take ourselves a concubine. We'll take this older lady so that no children are born. Yeah. Woohoo, I guess. We can hire a court physician. No, we're not going to do that though, just because I don't feel like there's a need to do this early in the game. Maybe later, as of right now, no. Few champions, that's something we focus on. The more champions we have, the better we can do in battles, as well as bring in the quality and the number of troops we have. And we are not currently endorsed by our religious figure over here. He dislikes us very little, only like -5. That's mainly because that's only because of our short range. Now we're gonna sway him specifically. Well, no, we're not gonna sway him. There's no need to sway him. If we have like churches and stuff, it'd be a different story. But for this early in the game, especially considering we're tribal, we don't actually have any churches, so there's no rush to like get him to like us or anything. Okay. So now that all the rather boring things are out of the way, I think it's about time to start off with a vassal. Now I would rather not, but we do need a vassal. I think this guy should do fine as our marshal. Now, we needed a vassal because we were actually over our territorial limit, and if we held it for too long, it would negatively impacted our soldiers and our taxes. So, to kind of save costs, we will have to give up some territory once in a while. Next, we'll need to get married. This is important, and we'll also need an heir, and this is the best way to do it. Now we're actually gonna get married to the daughter of Jarl Halfdan Whiteshirt of Jorvik, specifically because he's overwhelming. With 6,000 troops, we don't really have to worry about someone attacking us, and if they do attack us, we always have him to help us out. So we're gonna send the proposal, and if he'll accept it, so we should be good to go. Increase the speed a little. Alright. Alliance formed. And our troop number has increased, as time went on. The game kind of adjusted and stuff. Next week, we have to start spamming. Now, I'm gonna check out to make sure they don't have any allies. This guy right here, perfect first choice. He has small territory, only 1 county. He has allies, which makes him the best possible choice. So that when we declare war on him, it's just on him. And his territory is close enough that we don't have to worry about transportation too much. But we do have to worry about, I wouldn't say worry, but we have to deal with money costs. So they're not crazy or anything. It's only fivefold. So we can expect that. Now we'll cross over, conquer those territories. Oh. Yep, he'll keep coming back with the troops. Oh. So right now, we're working towards seizing down the fort. After we seize down the fort, we'll have claimed the territory for ourselves. And our wife is pregnant. Oh, there we go. And with no, stay there. with this, our war is now over. We've conquered what we needed and captured what we did. Next, we of course have to enforce our demands, and we'll be gaining stuff. We gain 75 fame. If we had allies, they would gain 75 prestige. Of course, if he had allies, they would gain 75 prestige, and they would increase his opinion of his allies based on their contribution. After all, if they really carried him through the war, of course he'd appreciate it a lot more than somebody who just showed up for the prestige. And with that, we have conquered the territory, but we are also giving it over our domain. Now, unlike in the other series, I don't have a particular place in which I am trying to expand to. I think the best choice would probably be to form the Kingdom of Sweden. However, that's not going to be easy, as Upland controls most of the territory necessary for that. So, the best possible choice at this point is to kind of like slowly expand in your row, while also not getting consumed by the beast that is Upland. While I don't believe they're going to attack us right now, it is important, keep in mind they could always cheat the mine. We always got to be a little careful. Now, we need to give up some more territory, and I think it would be best to give our territory to someone who... I'll give it to someone who doesn't. It will boost our thing, the humanity on the council. That's crazy. The answer is no. Anyway, it's important to consider where we want to go next. After all, we can't sit still for too long, especially with our enemies currently growing in strength and size. So next, I think we're going to go after these guys, Disaster Goblins. I'm probably saying these wrong, and I just want to make it clear how many and why. Now, with this, we should be good for a little bit. We won't be like, the strongest or anything, but we should have enough territory to actually be considered a threat and not attacked all over. We should also have enough vassals to kind of think about where we want to move next after that. Because obviously we can't just keep attacking and having infinite vassals. That's not good. Of course it's being looted right now. Not shocking. We're going to join this invasion, and we will actually help out. And that's probably going to be the end of the video right there. It's important to help our friends out. The war is over. Perfect little daughter. Congratulations. Your name is now Saga. Oh. I wasn't even needed. Mind you, you wasted huge amounts of place. I mean, don't get me wrong, I low-key kind of appreciate the prestige. So, like, that was a little bit of a humble brag. Hey, we won the war that we cared about. I wasn't expecting that war to end so quickly. But we've gained 75 more fame, and if we had any allies, they would have gained 75 prestige. Now, of course, as we expand, we'll always have to think about what we're going to do with a vassal. For example, do I want to grant this territory to this vassal right here? Or do I want to, grant it to an entirely new vassal? One important thing to think about is that when a vassal, when I put two vassals next to each other, they can always declare war, and one of the stronger vassals will come out on top. With that, they'll actually gain they can gain the territory, and that's not good for me, just in case they want my territory too. And I don't want to give them my territory. After all, it's my territory. That's the main reason I'll usually just grant new person land instead of making an old vassal land. When I'm larger, it's something I can think about less as, the size I am and the amount of strength I have is something I'll have to keep in mind as I move forward. we are currently making quite decent progress. You know, other than this island and then, you know, that territory, we've gotten most of what we need. You know, we can conquer up here, speed it up a little bit, and send the troops off. And then we should be, you know, doing overall pretty well. And my level of pain has increased, which is always a great thing. I always want that. Right now we are in the siege stage, but we see them for a while and we're currently defeated. Rather oh shoot. Oh shoot. Okay. An unworthy challenge. At first I thought the simple footman fool for stepping onto the training field. All the Kohler seemed no threat at first. It quickly became clear that he would be unable to stop his wild and vicious strikes and carnage. Disarming him suddenly became a matter of life and death. I tried not to show my relief as the sword finally hit the ground. Ah, so he's a berserker, eh? Think you're not your rascal. Okay. Well, I still want you anyway. I could use more people. Like, I could see... I do want him to join my court. Because I feel like he'd be useful as a champion, and I can always use more champions. There is never a time in this game where one could have too many champions. Also, can I just give this territory to somebody? What the heck happened? Did he die or something? He's like 28. Come on, bro. Come on. Okay. You don't die immediately. With this territory, so strength is something that's going to be important. I kind of want to expand decently, you know, and kind of wildly, you know, just get myself out. Kind of like if I were playing with both. It's less about getting territories I want, and more about getting territories. At this point, honestly. Now, like, for example, I'd love to declare war on him again, but it would be breaking the truce, and that's not something we want to do. In most situations, honestly, only break the truce if it's really going to benefit you. If you're like worried about upload or something, taking down that territory. Breaking the truce, it's just like an overall pain. Let me show you. If we were to just conquer that. So first, we'd spend 250 prestige. We'd lose a level of fame. We get broke truce for 3 years, which gives us rolls again. There we go. General opinion, we get 50. Of course, frightful crime of imprisonment. So overall, it's just a bad idea to declare war for no good reason. Well, no, to break truce for no good reason. Declaring war for no good reason. Go right ahead. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend breaking truces left, right, or center. Now that we have some more capital, one important thing is to work on our settlements. So we're actually going to build a war camp here. War camps are a nice, you know, troop booster in my opinion, and I'd always recommend getting one of those along with markets and a gathering hall. Well, the walls are useful. I wouldn't recommend, you know, just because you know, just at the start. You may not always need walls. Alright, now up to the task. Soon my counselors believe the job is right by political influence alone around the iron expect results to come out disappointed. After a long day of complaining and sorrow, girls saying, let me do something about it. Husband, a few lessons might sharpen their wits. All friends. Now there's 3 of them here that we could have taught. If they have a negative opinion, they're generally pretty confident in their skills, and so he'd really be killing on them. Or we'll go for him. Get that education. Okay, well we're making pretty decent progress so far. We've got, you know, we've expanded quite a bit. We've got some territory. A course, we are not going to be the culture leader anytime soon. That I'm okay with not being the culture leader. As long as we are safe in the advances of upload, who currently is not seeming to be focused on them. That's one thing I'd always recommend checking. If you go to the other rulers and check their opinion of us, you can actually see how much they want your territory. You'll have a negative opinion modifier, and it'll say like once so and so territory. Desires achievement after God. Yeah, we're making pretty decent progress. And I feel like it's enough in the video actually. My wife is pregnant. Who knows what the child will be? Son, daughter. Speaking of daughter, let me educate the child. This way I can kind of get her skills a boost. So, and I can choose a focus for her. Or for her martial. And just, for the first few generations, focus them on military needs and stuff to help them with that. Alright, I think that's enough for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, that way you're notified and kept up with the series, because you never know when the next episode's actually going to drop, because I don't know. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below telling me, what goals you'd like for me to set for myself. Do you want me to one day take down the Great Byzantine Empire if it's around by the time I'd actually, be able to? Did you want me to conquer Britannia? Just give me something to do. I'll take your recommendations and try my best. Yeah. Have a good day, good night, or goodbye.